Just look at this hole. Wow. I mean, that's an egg carton. It never fails. Hello. I post a video and the DMs roll in. I gotta get that camera. Wow, what light is that? My webcam is so bad. So, here's a breakdown of how I make videos today. Hardware, lighting, editing, all those things working together, and why making really bad videos leads to making really good videos. All right, here's the tour. Looks impressive, but this is like a trash wood shop off my garage. Really though, through that window, that's my garage. See on the wall there, that's a weenie roaster. And below that's a tennis racket. I kind of just pushed all the junk out of the way so I had some space. So here's the space. Here is where the magic happens. Prepare for disappointment. Used to have a whole wall of cabinets over there. Got some new stuff going on that end of it. But yeah, this is like family dumping ground central. I used to be really hung up on this idea that like I had to have this like super impressive like cabinet with, you know, books and all these things to make me look smart, and obviously I'm not, and I didn't have that. So what I started with, and really what I still use, a big naked span of wall. So what do you really need to make a cool looking video? I mean, I think this is it. I mean, you could definitely dress it up a bit. You could definitely give it a little more character, but here we are, all sorts of janky stuff going on in this room. The reason I've always got this monitor in shot, there's been a hole in the drywall. Big old hole, and I just started covering it up now, but really I couldn't be bothered, so put a monitor there, block it. On one side of my frame, I've got this caulking I've run down the wall and still haven't painted over. The shot is just inches inside of that on one side. On the other side, I've got this lovely corkboard with all sorts of gardening implements that I never use because I hired a landscaper. That's genuinely about a ½ inch off the shot on this side. But you know what? Looking at it, you never know, right? Now there's a lot more I could do here. Pictures, bookshelves, something like that that's gonna add some character. I'm a little limited because I got like HVAC just above out of shot right here. But what does it really take to have the space to do something like this? Not much. This could be any room. This could be a break room. It could be your living room. It could be a wall in the garage. So don't ever let the notion of having space to do it get in the way. It doesn't take much. You just need kind of an open span of wall. Okay, so now I'm curious, what are the actual like exact dimensions of the space that I've got here? So I'm gonna measure it out. One of the reasons that my shot is laid out the way that it is, the camera's a little ways away, it's a narrow angle lens, is because I genuinely didn't have a wall bigger than this with which to shoot. So I've got another lens that's kind of got like a cooler effect, a little wider angle. I've never actually been able to use it because that thing shows like way too much of this room, and there's not enough in this room that looks nice to be able to even be presentable on video. So let's check out the distance across we've got from old blue zone over there to orange. So the span of wall here is just short of 8 feet. The height up to this lovely thing is about 5 feet 10 inches, but you know what? You don't even need that much height because I used to have all sorts of crap below desk level here too when we were moving some stuff in our house. So what is the distance you really need from the point of view where the desk blocks off what's below it up to the top of the shot? It's 3 feet 10 inches. So to replicate this shot, that's all you need. Not that much space, right? Now I'm on one end of the room. The camera is up against the wall on the other end of the room. So I'm gonna measure the distance from where the camera sits to where I usually am. It's about 7 feet. So you're gonna need 7 feet of open space from where you're sitting over to where your camera's sitting. All right, let's cruise through the rest of our tour here. So obviously most noticeable thing, big old dome light. This is a 48-inch dome light over an aperture 100x light. I'm doing a video series for our accountant community where I go way more in depth on all of this stuff. It's gonna be a little unwieldy in an office environment, right? But there's some other alternatives that are gonna be a little more compact, have a better look that you could swing up out of the way pretty easily. But the biggest factor in how good your light looks when you're down in front of it is the size and diffusion of that light. So this desk setup looks killer because this light is so big. Now in an office environment, unless you got a dedicated video setup, yeah, probably gonna require some compromises, but I've got that luxury here in this space. All right, around the back of this mess. So I got a Sony a6400, just got a teleprompter that's on now. What makes the Sony a6400 so great? Two things. So the LCD panel on the back of the camera flips all the way up, meaning you can see yourself from in front of it. This means regardless of your video setup, you can see a live view of the video from in front of the camera. Now, most DSLRs have a fixed screen on the back, or they won't flip up all the way around so that you can see yourself from the front regardless of where your camera's set up. Other big thing that people always overlook with cameras, it's a big difference between the a6400 and say the a6100, the first DSLR I bought, is the color profiles the camera will record with. So these two videos, for example, videos I took with the a6100 and the a6400. Both cameras have identical sensors, so the actual thing that's recording the video is the same. Way more flexibility in color profiles. And this is just a way better overall look than you're gonna get from most basic DSLRs. So audio, I'm running a Yeti. It's all right. It's not the best. I actually bought it a long time ago for something else. The right mic for you depends on probably what type of shot you're looking for. If you're okay with having a mic in shot and you don't mind having that arm coming right across your face, that's the best way to get really good quality sound, is being super close to your mic. It's not gonna pick up background noise. Personally, I don't like that. I want this sucker up out of the way, and that inevitably means you're gonna have some compromises in your mic quality, but for me right now, this is pretty good. I may upgrade to a shotgun mic. This is a little better suited for shooting from a distance, but this is what I'm rolling right now. Now you take a look at this, and admittedly, it's kind of a lot. If you're thinking, man, I need to upgrade my office setup, but what's Tina gonna say when she sees this monstrosity hanging out by my desk all the time? Yeah, this is definitely a setup suited for like a dedicated office where you're gonna do video, that kind of thing. But really, the only aspect of this that's unwieldy right now is this dome light. Now there's some other styles of lights that can get you a similar large diffused effect that admittedly look a little cooler than this, don't have to stand on a tripod. You could put on an arm, like a mic arm like this, hang it down near your desk, and then when you're done, push it up away. But I'll show you the rest of my setup here on my desk. I think it's working pretty well for me right now, because this is a desk I not only use for filming, but this is where I do my other work. So right now I've got a single post, that's just a clamp on the desk, and then several VESA mount arms coming off of it. So I've got a monitor just freestanding right here, and then my second monitor is on a VESA arm here. I just swing that sucker out of the way when I'm gonna start filming, and then when it's back to work, I just pull that guy right back up alongside the primary monitor. Works pretty well. Big thing with video is removing the points of friction that are keeping you from just sitting down and hitting record. If it's a big chore to get everything set up every time, you're never gonna do it. So right now for me, this is pretty livable. Quick and easy to swing the mic out of the way. And if I were gonna roll a setup like this at my office, really I'd probably imitate this whole thing with the exception of having a light that's gonna swing out of the way as well. Now, the biggest tip I can give you that's gonna save your life when you're getting started with video is you're not a one-take wonder. Same mistake everybody makes when they're starting out. They've got a 90-second thing to say. You're super insecure because you haven't done video much before, and you sit there and you just hammer on that thing over and over and over again. You make a mistake, you start over. Before you know, you're like 10 attempts in, you're like sweating. Every single one's getting worse. It's awful. Virtually everybody does it when they're first starting out with video. Best tip I can give you, learn really basic editing. Everybody shies away from video editing because, let's be real, nobody's a video editor. You don't want to spend extra time editing a video, but here's the reality. Change your workflow to recording it once. Make a mistake, no problem. Just go back to the beginning of the next statement, take another try at it. That 90-second video is going to take you 2.5 minutes to record. And then with some super basic video editing tools like the built-in editing in Loom or a tool like Descript, you can edit those couple mistakes out in like 90 seconds. Way less stressful, gets you away from that mindset, that high pressure mindset of, oh man, I gotta nail this. So that's a tour of how we're doing our videos right now in this dumpy old space I got off my garage. There has never been a better time to learn video. It is so high leverage. And you know what, when you start, you're gonna suck. It's gonna be really bad, it might be kind of funny. But 9 months ago, I was making really crappy videos and you weren't watching them. But here we are. So everybody's gonna take their own journey. I'm still iterating every week, trying different stuff. Some stuff works, some stuff sucks. That's kind of part of the fun of it. Without doing that, you're never gonna get to a spot where you've got really solid content that's easy to watch. So hopefully that's helpful. Drop any comments below if you got questions about anything you saw. Like what type of fertilizer bag is that right there? How long's that egg carton been sitting over here? And hopefully this inspired you a little bit to go out and not buy all the stuff to have like a big fancy setup, but just start down that path because there's never been a better time to learn video.